What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And today, you're talking sports with MG Johnson. Today, we have the NBA top 10 small forwards today. We are
Yes,
we are
sir.
back with another one. To first, we started off with the point guards and the shooting guards, which you guys seen in the past few days. Now we moving on to the forwards, man. So I can't wait to get to this one. And you already know I have Corrupts joining us for all of these position list rankings. So Corrupt, for the people who might be new or not know who you are, just introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, I'm Corrupt. I am a huge Ravens fan, and I am a big Spurs fan and basketball fan in general. And I've been on this channel many, many times, so I know how it goes. And
Yes.
it's been very good. I cannot wait to see who MG has on his list.
Yep. And obviously everyone watching in the premiere chat. Um Appreciate everyone. The premiere chat's been cool the last 2 days. Everyone's been great. So listen, this list, we already know we have Matisse Thybulle as the best small forward of all time, but we'll actually get into it. But before we start off with the actual list, we got to start off with our honorable mentions. Corrupt, you may take it away.
All right. For my honorable mention, it's going to be Jeremy Grant and
Ooh,
Norman Powell.
ooh,
Now,
okay.
Jeremy Grant had a very good season last season.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. His efficiency, though, wasn't the best. It was like 42-34 split, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, he got injured halfway through the season. It is a very small sample size compared to these other players I have here.
Yep.
And the other one is Norman Powell, who's really good and really solid, but it's just these other guys, including Jeremy Grant, are just more talented and have just done more than Norman Powell has.
Norman Powell.
Powell needs to take another step to get into the same tier as these other guys.
My honorable mentions are Jeremy Grant and Gordon Hayward. Jeremy Grant had a
That's a good
really
one.
good Jeremy Grant had a really good year, man. He was in conversation at the start of the year for most improved player, but the injury and Julius Randle being great is what knocked him down there. But Jeremy Grant, man, he improved his game. He elevated as a number one option on the Detroit Pistons. I'm excited to see him with Cade Cunningham this upcoming season. And with Gordon Hayward, he's always been a talented guy. He just can't stay healthy. Got injured once again this year, but he averaged 20 points a game when he's healthy. He's a really good guy, can shoot the mid range and a three at a high level. But if he can stay healthy, he could be a top 10 on this list. But Gordon Hayward needs to stay healthy. And Jeremy Grant, the sample size we've seen this past season was great. And if he can keep it up consistently, maybe he can move up in this list. But now let's get to the real deal, the top 10 small forwards. Corrupts, who is your number 10 guy?
All right, for number 10, I have Michael Porter Jr.
Okay.
Now, Michael Porter Jr. is averaging 19 points on 50-40 splits, which is really freaking good. Really freaking good. Michael
Mm-hmm.
Porter Jr. Ooh, man. He's a very good scorer. It's just so many. Man, this guy has a lot of potential. Has a lot of potential, and I want to see what he can do. I want to see what he can do if he was in a more of like a second option or even a first option type of role.
Mm-hmm.
But he is the third option on a very good Nuggets team. And I guess that's kind of the difference is like you're with like him compared to everybody else. Um, Michael Porter Jr. with his sample size has been really good and really efficient, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't doubt that he can do better with a more like a bigger role, like as a number one option. But he just hasn't showed to me like these other people have that he can do that. He hasn't shown to me. He hasn't had that experience. He hasn't had that level. There's just like a level these other guys have, and he's not there quite yet. But Michael Porter Jr. is one of the best young players in this NBA. Don't get me wrong. So who do you got, MG?
At number 10, I have DeMar DeRozan for the Chicago Bulls. Excuse me. Had a really good season this past year with the San Antonio Spurs. Got better at playmaking. Also, one of the best mid-range shooters in the NBA. Still can
Huh.
drive and dunk at the and finish at the rim. So had a good season, solid season with the Spurs. Especially the first half. People were considering him an All-Star the first half of the season. Hit a big shot against the Mavericks. Being that guy for the Spurs, and now going to the Chicago Bulls. and supporting Zach LaVine, Vucevic, Lonzo, and all the other guys there. DeMar DeRozan has had a good season, is a good player. He's obviously not in his prime anymore, but he's still a very effective guy, and that's what I like to see. So DeMar DeRozan at number 10.
Um, some things I have wrong with that, honestly.
Okay.
But okay, okay. For number 9, I have Brandon Ingram.
Ooh.
Brandon
Okay.
Ingram is a clean 23 points per game kind of guy. Gets you around 4 or 5 assists every night. He's a pretty good playmaker. But honestly, I it's just I don't know, man. When I watch him play, I don't see him as getting the job done. I just don't. I don't know.
Okay.
It's just Brandon Ingram is very good, very solid. But honestly, I can't see him more than just a good score that can get you the 20 real quick as the
Hmm.
second or third option on a team.
Okay.
That's I think personally I think that's all he is. Uh, so he's still a very good player, and I do kind of want to see him more when he was like the comeback player of the year. Oh,
Hmm.
my bad, most
Most
improved player of
improved
the year.
player. Hmm.
My bad, not comeback. I want to see more of that. Honestly, I feel like that was still his best season. But
Hmm.
hey, Brandon Ingram is still a very good player. I have him at 9.
At number 9, I have Michael Porter Jr., a good young player, had an amazing season this past year. Stepped up as a number 2 option when Jamal Murray went down, and that's what you want to see, man. This guy can score, he can shoot the three, he can shoot the mid range. He's a okay playmaker. But the thing is, he's such a big guy, and he's so quick and mobile. That's what's great about him. He shows flashes of Kevin Durant. Not saying he is, but he does show light flashes of Kevin Durant. My only problem with him is sometimes he takes difficult shots and shots he definitely shouldn't take. But he's other than that, he's a great scorer, man, and he's such a beast. And when he's on fire, he's really good. I want to see him while Jamal Murray still be out for the first couple months of the season. I want to see how he is as the number 2 option to start off the season. But other than that, I have all great things to say about Michael Porter Jr. and he is my number 9 guy.
And honestly, why I had um okay, so number 8, I have DeMar DeRozan, and why I have
Mhm.
him over somebody like Brandon Ingram and Michael Porter Jr.
Mhm.
is first off, he's a way better facilitator, not way better, but he's a better facilitator than them,
Mhm.
and I feel like he's can be the lead. For sure he can be the number 1 leader on that team, on a team. He's done it
Okay.
with the I almost said Bulls. He's done it with the
The
Raptors, and
the
he's done it with the
Spurs.
Spurs.
Mhm.
Um, and like I said, he is just as efficient as Michael Porter Jr. He puts up around 50% field goal percentage. Now, of
Mhm.
course, he's nowhere close to anybody on this list, 3-point shooting wise. But I don't think he needs to do that. I think
Mhm.
he's shown that he can be pretty good. He can get you to the playoffs, right? And with select pieces around him. And I feel like he's proven more than to somebody like a Michael Porter Jr. And I just think he's a better player than Brandon Ingram, honestly. I just do. I think
Okay.
he's a better I think he's a better defender. I think he's a better playmaker, and I think the only thing Brandon Ingram has over him is his 3-point shot, honestly. Um that's just my opinion though. DeMar DeRozan is number 8 for me.
See, okay, so that was the only mix up in our list because at number 8 I have Brandon Ingram, and he's a great scorer, man. He can shoot the three, shoot the mid range well. Won Most Improved Player not too long ago. He's a good, solid number 2 option, I believe. And he's another guy kind of like Michael Porter Jr. where he does take difficult shots, but I love what Brandon Ingram can bring. He has a great size. The one thing I want to see if he can keep developing on the defensive side of the ball, maybe be a little bit of a better facilitator, he can be have a higher role on a good solid team. But other than that, man, Brandon Ingram's a really good player. Him and Michael Porter Jr. honestly was really hard because they have kind of a similar skill set. They're big, long guys who has really
Yeah.
that take difficult but great shots. So it was hard to rank them too. But same similar things that I say about Brandon Ingram, you can go with Michael Porter Jr. Both number 2 options on the team. I don't really see them as the guy like you did say about DeMar DeRozan. That was a great point. But other than that, man, great things to say about Brandon Ingram. And he is number 8 for me.
By the way, our list is actually entirely right now. It's all swip swappy. You had Michael Porter Jr. at 9, DeMar at 10, and Brandon
Ingram
Ingram at
at
8.
8. Yeah, so our list, our 7, 8, and 9 is the same guys, but just flipped around and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
all right,
So for number 7, I have Chris Middleton.
mm,
Um, Now, honestly, after his performance in the playoffs, you'd think, he should be higher, right?
yeah,
Man, but then looking at the guy ahead of him and the guys ahead of him, I think they just have one. I think they just have either one more talent or two. They're just, how do I say this? The better leader of the team. They're the number one option. The leader of the team. Chris
mm-hmm,
Middleton did amazing in the playoffs, but it's also been pointed out he's inconsistent at times.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes he's giving you that Chris Middleton great efficiency, getting you like 30 points in the playoffs. Then
50,
next
40, 90.
he's yeah. Then the next though he's pretty
Mm,
inefficient, missing shots, not really that good, and other guys like Giannis have to step up for him.
mm-hmm,
Um, I don't know. Yes, he did amazing in the playoffs, and of course he won in the finals. But somebody in front of him is the number one option of that team who also made the finals. And that's why I have Chris Middleton at 7. Who do you have at 7?
At 7, I also have Chris Middleton here. I like what Chris Middleton can do, man. I think you brought up the good points about his inconsistencies, but he is a great guy. He can go 50, 40, 90. Great shooting splits. Probably one of the best shooting percentages on this list as far as small forwards go. He's a great guy, can shoot the three. He's a great mid-range shooter. He's not really great as far as being a slasher and attacking the basket, but that's not needed when you have Giannis Antetokounmpo. And he does step up on defense when he needs to. So, and also, too, he's gotten better at facilitating every single year of his career. And that's what you love to see out of Middleton, has elevated as the for sure number 2 option on the championship team. And that's what you like to see from Chris Middleton. But the same problems Corrupt has with him is that the inconsistency. Sometimes he doesn't show up as the number 2 option. Sometimes he's more of a number 3. But when he's at his best, he is the number 2 option of that championship Bucks team.
Yeah,
And that's what you like to see out of Chris Middleton. But if he could be more consistent, man, after the playoff run he just had, I like to see how higher he can get on one of these lists, man. So number 7,
yeah,
Chris
I
Middleton.
agree. Now, honestly, you said that he has great splits, or efficiency, and actually, that with small forward, that's a pretty consistent thing that happens. It's pretty repetitive. A lot of these guys are pretty efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that I was talking about over Chris Middleton is number 6, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, the number one option on this team, and he did absolutely. I think he's all one. I think he's a better defender, right,
Yep,
than Chris
100%.
Middleton. And two, man, going against LeBron and what he did against LeBron, doing
Mm-hmm.
pretty good, bro. I don't know. I think when everybody else, especially in the finals, right, didn't show up or got injured, like Bam.
Mm-hmm.
Was Bam injured or
Bam
did he
was
have
injured
COVID?
for a couple of games.
Injured. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jimmy Butler was stepping up. He by himself continued to the series. Edited in 6 instead of 5 because of
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is really good, and I think him getting injured this year has a lot to do with that kind of like dip in production from him this season. But hey, I still think Jimmy Butler is a better small forward at this time, but I can definitely see Chris Middleton moving up. What do you think, Mr. M. Jizzle?
At number 6, I also have Jimmy Butler. The
Okay.
reason why I have Jimmy Butler at 6 is because over Middleton, and like you said, he is a number 1 option on the team that made the championship a few years ago. Jimmy Butler, I mean, obviously, I've seen him firsthand. He played for my team, and he's the type of guy. He's an amazing leader. He's an amazing defender. Even though he was injured last year, still led the league in steals per game. Still a lockdown defender. One of the best mid-range shots in the league, and he can still shoot the three. And like I said, he's one of the best leaders in the league. When you look at the 76ers, he came here and he led this team to almost make it to the conference finals if it wasn't for Kawhi Leonard making magic. And then he took the Miami Heat that very next season to the NBA championship. So you see the leadership out of Jimmy Butler along with his defensive ability with the mid-range shot that he has. He's also a solid three-point shooter as well. You can't go wrong with having Jimmy Butler, but he is on the other side of 30, and he is starting
Yeah.
to get injured a little bit more. So I wouldn't be surprised if, not he gets bad or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if his production decreases because of his age and some of the injuries that he's had this past season.
Now, Jimmy Butler, I oh man, I do think he is a better mid-range guy than Chris Middleton as of now.
as of now.
But I think that's only because Chris Middleton was is inconsistent. Honestly, I think if Chris Middleton, and I don't know if you saw that preseason game from I think it
Hmm.
was last night, but if Middleton looks like that for the rest of the season, he's moving up for me
Hmm.
personally. Jimmy Butler though, right now he's proven more, I think, and he's been in the game longer. And honestly, he's in my opinion done more with less than Middleton, even though Middleton's not the number one option. Uh,
Hmm.
it kind of shows me something about one, the 76ers, and two, when you he makes it with that Heat team, which is I don't think as good as the 76ers, right?
Hmm.
Which kind of tells something about your team. And of course, Kawhi, magic.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we'll get to him in a second.
We'll get to that guy maybe later on. But yeah.
So number five, his teammate is gonna be Paul George, and Paul George, one of the best two-way players in the league. He's giving it 20 a night. He's man, he's really good. He's really good, and he went from man, I kind of feel bad for him because with the Pacers, he was looking amazing. Then he got the injury, went to the
Hmm.
OKC Thunder, and he did pretty good with the Thunder too. Actually, he had a career high 28 points with them.
Hmm.
But man, why I don't have him higher is because this man is just he's shown many times in the playoffs to not show up. Pandemic
Hmm.
P. I mean, um, he's higher than Jimmy Butler and Chris Middleton to me because I just think the talent's better. I just
The
think he has
talent,
more
yeah,
talent than him.
yeah.
It's just I just think it's better, and I think Paul George has shown that he can be definitely the number one option. Which Chris Middleton, I don't know if Chris Middleton can like Jimmy Butler and Paul George be the number one option on the team. Honestly, I don't know. Um, Paul George though, really good. He's a great scorer everywhere. Honestly, he's a good 3 point shooter. You can get from mid range, and he's a great finisher too. You've seen that 360 dunk.
Hmm.
Um, Paul George has it all. He could be higher, but these other guys are either one just more talented, or two have proven so much more. So Paul George is at five.
All right, come on, quick copying me because I also have Paul George at number five. And the thing about Paul George is this guy has an amazing talent, dude. The guy he's an efficient 3 point shooter, a great mid range shooter, and he still has the ability to finish the ball at the rim. Still has a great athletic ability. Not as He's not as athletic as he was before the injury, but he's still one of the best athletic players. And he brings you over 20 points per game. He can
Of
rebound
course.
the ball along with great quality defense. What more can you ask? And this past playoffs, he elevated his game when Kawhi Leonard was out.
Yeah,
Had to go up against the Utah Jazz when his main guy Kawhi Leonard was out, and he went and he did the unthinkable. Everyone thought once Kawhi was injured, that's it. The Jazz won the series, but nope. Paul George had an amazing game to close out the series. And
champ
yes, we
man.
did lose against the Suns, but Paul George still had a great series then, other than missing a free throw
Yeah,
and what was it? One of those games they lost. And you can argue that series would have went to seven if DeAndre Ayton didn't get that big dunk. Then the series is tied 3-3 and it's going to 7 games. So Paul George had an amazing playoffs. He finally elevated his game to the playoffs, and the talent is just there. And I think he is better than Jimmy Butler. And with recency bias and the playoff P and the pandemic P, people might be like, "How dare you have Jimmy over him or him over Jimmy?" But Paul George, I think he's overall better. And then this past playoffs, he showed that he can prove it and do well there. So Paul
uh,
George is number five.
I do want him to prove a little bit more that he can do that. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I want him to prove that he can do that multiple and consecutive years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Now, number four, and from this list on, are woo superstar level talent. We
Yes,
have
sir.
Jayson Tatum, the
Mm.
Boston Celtics. This man is talented, man. Oh my gosh! And even without Jalen Brown, this man is clearly, clearly just like carrying his team. And yeah, he does have Jalen Brown, but Jalen Brown was injured the latter half of the season previously,
Mm-hmm.
and Jason Tatum was doing great things, getting game winners over Giannis, going in the
50-point
playoffs,
games.
dropping 50. Dude, Jason Tatum is freaking oh my! I think the talent's just superior to Paul George. That's why he's higher. That's why he's higher than Paul George. I think it's just such a. I think the talent is a difference there. And Jason Tatum, bro. He's a good finisher, good mid-range guy. He's efficient, bro. He's everything. He's everything you want. And he's not a scrub on defense either. Jayson Tatum is awesome. I think he has just more talent than Paul George at the end of the day. And why he's not higher? These three other guys are championship guys, championship number one guys. That's why he's not higher. And until he can do that, I'm not going to have him higher.
Mm-hmm. At number
So
four,
who's your number 4?
I also have Jayson Tatum. And look, here's why. Jayson Tatum is one of the most skilled players in the NBA. He's one of the best young players in the NBA, and he's just amazing. The dude has the nastiest sidestep in the game. The dude can shoot the ball from three. Amazing mid-range game. He's also just good in the paint too. He leads the Boston Celtics every single night. Going into a playing game, dropped 50 points, and then against the series round 1 against the Nets, had another 50-point game. The guy can just do it all. I actually streamed another one of his games where he had 47, went toe-to-toe with Steph Curry. I think Steph had 45 and he had 47. It was a regular season game. He just continues to elevate his game. Jayson Tatum is the guy, man. He is the guy for the Boston Celtics. He continues to show why. And he also can do it on the defensive side of the ball. I know it does help that he has Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart with him, but he does get it done on the defensive side too. So I just love Jayson Tatum. If he can carry the Celtics team to the conference finals or even the NBA finals, the sky's the limit for Jayson Tatum, man. The sky's the limit.
So let's get into people who have been in the Western Conference and or not Western Conference, my bad.
Let's go to
the conference finals
guys.
and the finals. Especially a guy who's had one of the best game winners ever in playoff history. One of the best two-way players ever. 2-time Finals MVP, Kawhi Leonard, the Claw.
Brings me nightmares.
Kawhi Leonard. I mean, what can I say? He's won a ring. Oh, my bad, 2 rings. Both Finals MVP, and this man is, arguably the best two-way player in the league. I mean, Kawhi Leonard has it all, man. He has it all. Talking about an all-around player, you can go Kawhi. He's a great finisher, great mid. Probably, you know what? Maybe the best mid-range guy in the league right now, and he's still a good three-point shooter. This man is efficient. I mean, I don't know what to say. Besides, him being, leaving the Spurs. I don't know what bad things to say about Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is just that guy, and the only reason why he's not higher is because, I mean, we'll get to them in a second. But who's number 3 for you?
I mean, I also got Kawhi Leonard. It's pretty simple, man. The guy is an absolute killer, and he's the silent assassin. He doesn't have to say anything. He lets his game do the talking. The guy has, like you said, probably the best mid-range shooter in the league. He can also, when he dunks the ball, he shakes the rim like he's a center. Dude, when the guy dunks the ball, it's just insane. A great free throw shooter, great three-point shooter as well. And then he probably the best wing defender in the league outside of Ben Simmons. I mean, the guy can just defend. And when he is on, come on, you telling me a guy who gives you 30 a night, with about 5 or 6 rebounds, 5 or 6 assists, and all NBA defense? Come on now. Come on now. And he's a 2-time champion, 2-time MVP, won a championship against LeBron James himself, had to defend LeBron James in that series. And then, yes, the Warriors were injured, but even if KD was healthy in that finals Raptors-Warriors, it would have been fun to see him and Kawhi go at it that series. Man, the guy's just a beast, man. And honestly, before he went to the Raptors, he was pretty underrated. No one talked about him until he went to the Raptors and won there. But Kawhi Leonard is the 3rd best small forward in the NBA.
Speaking of Kawhi going against LeBron, LeBron is, for me, number 2 now. So people going to get mad at that.
Hold up. People going to get mad at that. Corrupt. The LeBron fans.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Now, this does not mean that number 1 on this list is better than him all time. This is right now who I'm going to take. And right now, the number 2 small forward, in my opinion, is going to be LeBron James. And a lot of that has to do with, him getting older and, him getting these injuries. And, him getting these injuries, him getting older, this also seems like not to stop him, because just the season before this one, he won a ring with AD. This man is durable as heck, efficient, one of the best scorers of all time, underrated defender, especially in his prime.
Hmm.
I mean, LeBron is just more talented than Kawhi. He's won multiple championships. I mean, what can I say? He's better than Kawhi. He's just better than Kawhi. I mean, like, man, if he, I don't know where it would be. Man, it's crazy. This does not mean that LeBron is This is not that LeBron is the only reason why the other guy is ahead of him is because I think the other guy is in his peak and LeBron's older and getting more injuries. So that's why.
At number two, I have Matisse Thybulle. And listen, guys, Matisse Thybulle. No, I'm joking. But at number two, I also have LeBron James. Um, LeBron James, man, he's probably the best athletic player of all time in the NBA. I mean, the dude, the way he is able to do what he does on a nightly basis for 19, this is going into his 19th season, is just insane. That guy can finish at the rim, has a great mid-range shot. His three-point shot has gotten better as he's gotten older. That's great to see. And when people say he takes possessions off on defense, but when he's actually playing defense, LeBron James can lock up too. He can. I mean, you see it every night, man. And he is the ultimate leader. Every team he goes to, he is the leader, and he has one of the highest IQs in the game. He can get you 10 plus assists, 8 to 9 rebounds, along with getting 35 in any given game. The LeBron James is just an absolute monster, one of the greatest of all time. Now, the guy at number one, I'm gonna explain to you why that he's over LeBron. But man, LeBron James he's the king for a reason. He's the king for a reason.
I mean, LeBron loves to be at number two because he's the second best player of all time. So,
Yeah, don't get mad, LeBron fans, please.
but number one right now, I'm taking Kevin Durant, and this is not an easy decision at all. I think it's very minimal difference between these two. I think the only reason why I'm taking KD right now is because I think right now KD is a better scorer than him, and well, I think it shows me a lot because that Nets team without Kyrie and James Harden, not a very good team around him, in my personal opinion. Now they have some underrated guys, but I don't think it's a contender. And KD almost beat the Bucks by himself and a half of a James Harden. Honestly,
Hmm.
KD's really good. And when I see LeBron James just whining to the refs and being a little bit more injured and being older, and right now I have to put KD above him. Um, KD's just, bro. What can I say? I think he's one of the best scorers, not of right now, of all time. He can hit it from anywhere. He's a 7 foot point guard, bro. I don't know what else to say. He's good. He's just good. I think he's just the best small forward right now. I think right now he's just got it. He got it. All right, he got it.
At number one, I have Matisse Thybulle. Listen here, guys. At number one, I got Kevin Durant. And listen, it's what do I have to say? I mean, the guy's a killer. Has one of the best mid-range shots in the game, one of the best three-point shots of the game, and he can finish at the basket. And
Everything,
the
everything.
guy, the guy just does everything offensively. He can also pass the ball a little bit, not as great as LeBron James can, but I think he's a better offensive player than LeBron, and defense with them two is pretty close. But Kevin Durant's just a beast, man. I mean, other people, OKC fans get mad at him. Oh, he left us, and yeah, that I would be frustrated too. But the guy is just a killer. He had one of the greatest playoff performances this past year against the Bucks, where I think he played like 48 minutes, had like 47 points or something.
Yeah,
He had like 10
yeah.
assists and 10 rebounds, and against the Bucks in like
Crazy.
game 6. Like he had one of the greatest performances of all time. And if his foot did not step on the line, then you can talk about the Nets going to the NBA Finals if his foot wasn't on the line. So
Maybe.
it's crazy what Kevin Durant did, even with Kyrie Irving not playing in the playoffs last year or getting injured in the middle of it, even with James Harden playing with a hamstring injury, Kevin Durant still got the job done, and that's why he is the number one small forward in all of NBA. So,
And I mean, I didn't even bring up his championships.
oh right, yeah, we forgot he's a
Yeah, right.
two-time
I
NBA
forgot about
champion
that. He's made
and
three.
two-time
He's
Finals
made
MVP.
Yeah, yeah. He's made three finals in a row, and he's won two of them. I mean, and the only reason why he didn't win two of them was because I mean, my bad. He didn't win three of them was because he was injured for the other one, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Um, and yes, he did join the better team, yada yada yada. But hey, KD still got the job done. It still amounts to something. And KD without the Warriors has looked freaking amazing. I don't know what else to tell you.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's definitely these three guys: KD, LeBron James, and Kawhi Leonard. And then it's everybody else. I think so. I
I'd
think Jason
agree.
Tatum. I think Jason Tatum can definitely get in that conversation. I think he has the potential and the talent to do so. But as of now, it's those three guys on the small forward list and everybody else. Um, yeah, I mean, this is a very good list, and I'm surprised after eight we were 1 for 7 again. We were seven
Hmm.
for seven again. My bad. So hey, I mean, this is a very very stacked position. I mean,
Yep.
wow.
Yeah, I mean, I love doing this position right here. I just love that we have so many efficient players on this list, like you said earlier.
Oh yeah.
So I'm happy. I'm excited about this season coming up with KD and LeBron. Both their teams could make the finals, but we'll see about that. But everyone, Corrupts channel link will be in the description. Premier chat.
Thank you.
Thank you all for watching, being amazing throughout this whole series. We will see you guys for the power forward positions. You've been talking sports with MG Nas, and until next time, we are out. Peace.